Story time on how sometimes comedians make money besides doing stand up. One of the things that some comedians do, that I got the chance to do, was being a warm up guy. Warm up guys are usually used by TV networks to come in and keep the audience alert. It's really tough when you have downtime, especially if you have to do setups or you have to move stages. The audience will get bored, and so they hire comedians to come and entertain, get them going, give out candy, inform them on what's going on, move the audience here, move the audience there. Sometimes there's lunch breaks. So there's a lot that goes on when it comes to doing warm up, and that was just one of my gigs that I used to do for a company called LATV. I would do the warm up section of these shows while they were setting up the bands or whatever was going on, which is a great gig. I got to see Caifanes there, Enanitos Verdes, Hombres G. Like all the artists that were blowing up at the time would come to this network. And I was a warm up guy, so really I didn't really have any responsibilities, but just make sure that the audience was paying attention, they were clapping, they were cheering. Here's a few things about being a warm up guy, that stories that I would get where things go crazy and people don't understand that this is television. Of course, they're going to manipulate it. Of course, they're going to move it to the way they want, or they're going to set up the shots they want. If you've ever been invited to a TV show and you're part of the audience where they can see you, if you're an ugly person, they put you all the way to the back. And if you're a good looking person, they put you in the front. And I know it's you're like, well, Richard, that's a given. Yes, that's a given. But sometimes when you were the warm up guy, the floor manager wasn't there, or the director is like setting up a shot, they would call me. One of the toughest gigs I had was Channel 62 here in LA, Estrella TV. They were the worst. Though that company is the worst. They would literally look at audience members like cattle. Literally like cattle. And they would say, Muéveme esa vaca de ahí. ¿Qué me estás haciendo? I mean, they were so vulgar. They would go brutally on the audience. And as a warm-up guy and as a floor manager, you were his hands and ears. So you were the guy saying, Señora, ¿se puede mover para acá? No, yo vine aquí. I came here first. And they're here to see Conjunto Primavera. But it would be all these ladies, like, they're older ladies. They're in the front row. They came early because they're grandmothers now. So all they did is pick up the kid from school, and Primavera's going to be there at 6 in the afternoon. They got there at 4. And they don't have anything else to do, so they come, and they all would set up in front of the stage. And this channel, dude, the show that I was doing the warm-up thing was, what's it called? I forgot what it was called. It was changed. It was like a variety show, but they would bring in artists. And my job was to make sure that I organized the audience. Don't ever go to one of these tapings at these networks, guys. They keep you there for hours and hours, that sometimes they would say, lock the doors. Like, you can't lock the doors. Like, they did so much unethical things at Channel 62. It was brutal the way they would treat the audience. They would buy them all pizza and thinking, okay, we're going to fix it. No, dude, everybody's hungry. And of course, they still want to go home. They go, hey, my husband's waiting for me. Hey, my ride's outside. And they would want us, hey, where's the audience? I'm like, dude, I can't hold people back. They got lives. They have to leave. You're not paying them. They're going to leave. And they said, well, lock the doors. No, can't lock the doors. And I'm pretty sure I didn't do it, but I'm pretty sure some of the other shows, they locked those doors because they didn't want people to leave. It was brutal. But I do remember that the way they would tell us to talk to the audience would be like, tell them that the colors don't match with the color scheme, that we need to change it because it's messing up with the camera work. Bullshit. It was either you're too big of a person, too ugly, and they wanted us to move you. And they would bring a bunch of, they would try to pick, the director would try to pick the best looking people and say, put those people, the girl with the blue shirt, the guy with the purple shirt, put them here, I want them here. And they were literally putting together a canvas of people in front of that shot of that camera. So when the host came out and the singer came out, the people behind them were good looking people at all times. So I was like, wow, that is so shallow. And that's my job, to move those people? Yep. The dancers in these Spanish shows, they came from an agency that didn't deal a lot with Spanish speaking, like, models. These were models, and this was back in the day where there was no Instagram models. It was just up and coming models that would go to these lower agencies where this channel would ask, "Hey, just bring me a bunch of attractive girls and big boobs, big butt," and they would just dance. And they had no idea who was on stage, and they had no idea what music this was. They would just dance, and they spoke no Spanish. They were literally just there like furniture. I was like, wow, this is bananas. If people could see how the hot dog is made, I don't think they'd really enjoy this show. But I got to see that and a lot more as a warm up guy. But the plus is that you do get to meet these artists face to face, and I got to see some of my heroes. Some of them disappoint me, and some of them were great. So that's it.